Okay, that was a lot of sharing. Hopefully I can trim off that first part when I pull it down. And let me fix my hair before I get going here. Okay. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back. I'm Tara Priolo. I'm your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. Dr. Flo, like I said, will be joining us in just a second. He is the CEP of Love in Action Network. We are a mental health peer support organization where we encourage, equip, and empower you to utilize healing tools that have worked for us so that you can put your love in action. Dr. Flo can be found at Andre in the Flow, at Andre in the Flow on all platforms, and I can be found at Tara Priolo Studio on all platforms. You can find both of our information at lovedandlovable.bio.link. We are here daily with Daily Boosts, thus the name, and today is Root Chakra. So typically we both bring some inspo, some things to share. I'm trying to decide between things to stop expecting and things to forgive yourself for. And I think I might do, well, it's Dr. Flo. He's joining. Mayhaps. It always takes a second. Oh, there it is. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I already ran down announcements.
Great.
But I didn't fully introduce you. I just said where to find you. Did you want to introduce, or do you want to just dive into it?
I'm Dr. Flo. I'm a paid mentor and coach to all of the dreamers of the world who want to actually manifest in this life something better.
Something better.
And I'm thrilled and honored to be with you today, Tara Priolo.
I'm honored to be with you as well. Would you like to hear We the Urban's things to forgive yourself for, or things to stop expecting today?
Things to stop expecting.
You got it. All right. And this is an Instagram account. Those of you that are new to Daily Boost, also I'm trying to, there's a hair. So phantom hair somewhere, and it's tickling my nose. So just y'all ignore that are watching now or will watch later that I'm just picking out my face. So We the Urban is an account on Instagram. They also have a new book that's called Not Sure Who Needs to Hear This, and you can pre-order that at wetheurban.com, which it says in the caption. And it also says, affirmation of the day. I free myself from the burden of unmet expectations. And here's the first slide. You can't expect others to read your mind. It's on you to communicate your feelings. I will be reposting, once again, the emotions wheel tomorrow on the Love in Action account. We talk about feelings every day, but the affirmation of Mondays is I feel. Next slide. Stop expecting people to lift. That is not what it says at all. That's not it. Stop expecting people to fit your idolized version of who they are. Reflect, accept, transcend. Don't expect loyalty from those you reward for it. Don't expect loyalty from those you reward for being inconsistent. That's a big one. Don't expect loyalty from those you reward for being inconsistent. The next slide is a repeating slide. Stop expecting you. Oh, this one's big. Stop expecting you from other people. Stop expecting you from other people. The secret to getting unstuck is to radically accept where you are now with grace. Let go of expecting perfection from yourself. You won't always be your most productive, make perfect decisions, or get everything right. A little self-compassion goes a long way. Stop expecting new results from repeated old behaviors. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Stop expecting loyalty from people who won't even give you honesty. Stop expecting loyalty from people who won't even give you honesty. Less expecting, more accepting. And that is the last one. Less expecting, more accepting. What you got for us, Dr. Flo? Any of those stand out? You got some inspo? You want to do boost questions? Not boost questions, chakra questions.
Yeah, I was going to push forward into the root chakra reflections and questions. Also known as the Muladhara chakra, relating to stability, security, and a connection to the physical world. Sundays are the days in Love and Action Network where we focus on our root chakra. The mantra is I am. I am loved and lovable. I'm worthy. I am successful. I'm more than I was yesterday. I am moving beyond. What are some of your I ams, Tara?
I am a loved and lovable mess.
Yes.
Hashtag coined. I am my typos.
You are. We are our best typos.
We are our greatest typos. I am great. I am strong. Hi, Joyce Windrider. We love you so much. We love you so much. I am fun. It's like I'm feeling that affirmation. An affirmation.
Affirmation is the mation that you make after you manifest what you were affirming in your affirmations before.
Thank you for making it work.
Affirmations are like, I'm thankful for the good in my life that I've already received.
Yes.
We love you, Joyous. As we reflect on the root chakra today, and you can check our social media for more facts on the root chakra and crystals and parts of the body and whatnot that it's tied into. We've decided here in our community to ask more questions and have answers. So here's some questions to ask yourself today as it relates to rooting yourself in this grounding chakra, the root chakra, as we anchor into our Love and Lovable week, where the theme is boundaries this week, and Tara will be reading about that in a moment after today's questions. In the area of trust and safety, and thank you for joining us today and listening on the newsletter and the podcast. Do I trust myself and others? Do I trust myself and others? How do I respond to fear and insecurity? How do I respond to fear and insecurity? What practices help me feel safe and secure? Tara, what practices help you feel safe and secure?
Routine. Creating routines. I said this to multiple people as I was judging yesterday, but
judging in a professional capacity, not the casual judgment that happens every day.
Judging a competition. One of the other teachers that I was there with said something along the lines of like, how do you prepare people for the NERBs, or how do you teach people? And I'm like, you got to teach people to just do it. A, just get up and do it. But B, you also have to do it enough to create a routine around it. And I think that's true of almost anything. Like, and this is so sad, but like, you think about how we mobilize, and how quickly people, in particular Black people, mobilize to either defend or enforce justice, or defend another group of people. But it's always very quick, right? Like, we got the t-shirts, we got the flags, we got the signs, we got the 5,000 protesters on the street, like we got it, right? But that's only because there's been a routine created around that, because it's happened so many times. So when I think about the answer to that question, that's my first kind of instinct, is like, I would create a routine. That's something that I do, like, monotonously, like, and even now when my routine gets not like a little bit thrown off, because it gets a little bit thrown off with a 3-month-old baby a lot, but like, when I miss a whole morning and don't get my makeup on until 1 p.m. Well, then my routine, you know, I'm like, if I get to the computer and my makeup on by 12:30, I'm doing well. That's my routine now, you know? But if I miss that 12:30, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna lose the whole day. I just did that to Dr. Flo on Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday? I was like, I can't lose another day. I can't do it. Because I was out of my routine. Fear and insecurity, you know?
When you were talking about the routines of Black and brown people to mobilize, it reminded me of right before I came in here, Latinos for Kamala are saying Kama la Flor,
Cama la flor.
which of course is a Como la Flor is the song from Selena.
Serena. Not
Serena, Selena. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This okay.
The lady that got killed.
Bless her heart.
Bless
It's
her
always
heart.
it's always too soon. But yeah, people do rally. People do rally around routine when they trust themselves to do so. All right, one more section and then we'll be out of here after the BD. As it relates to your self-identity and your survival instincts, how do I perceive my sense of identity in the physical world? We've done this before. How do I perceive my sense of identity in the physical world? Do I feel confident in my ability to survive and thrive? How do I connect with my instincts and primal energies? Well, one of the ways that I connect with my instincts and primal energy is through self-pleasure and pleasure with a friend.
Not any friend, a specific friend.
A specific friend. But before it was a specific friend, it was
many friends.
many friends and only fans. But yeah, but outside of the primal energies, connected with my instincts, I really ask myself daily what I want in today that's going to make me happy. And some days it's French fries. Lately it's been French fries.
I love French fries. I had those shoestring. Oh, I bought shoestring Ore-Ida. They were on sale at the Costco's, y'all. They're so good.
The ones in the red bag.
Yeah, and it's like a giant, like a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked myself if instinctually, and this may seem really, really basic to the people who want to be super spiritual, but I just go down, I go into the inventory of my heart daily and I say, yo, what can I do today that's going to make me feel good? And then I give myself instinctually those things. And it allows me to connect with my, a lot of people don't trust their instincts about having good things happen to them.
Sure.
We can trust like instinctually, like mother's intuition usually is about something that's bad that's about to happen. But what about when you can anticipate a smile or something happy happening? What does that energy feel like? So, me, I connect with my instincts by getting still. And then by having a friend.
A friend. A friend. I think that both of those instincts and primal, something came up when you were saying about spiritual people. I think the most spiritual things and the answers to a lot of the questions and a lot of healing is actually really simple. Now, simple doesn't mean easy. And we've had this discussion many, many times in many, many places on many, many topics, right? But it's very simple to get in touch with your instincts. It's very simple to get in touch with your primal desires. You just have to allow it to be simple. And most of us don't allow it to be simple because it's not easy. And if it's not easy, then we feel like we need to complicate it so that we're always like walking towards it. But it doesn't have to be. So what would it look like if you created a simple plan to connect with your instincts and primal desires? As Dr. Flo was just talking about, it's like it's not hard. The prescription is not hard for Dr. Flo. It's French fries, a friend, and a hand.
Which aligns with which aligns with great sex, great food, and great adventures. Yep. And most of us are in a position to give those things to ourselves if we want to. Tomorrow we'll move into our sacral chakra, which is more about the feelings, and the facts will be around that pleasure principle and center. However, it's important to recognize like where your primal energy comes from when you feel the most in it, and how to allow it to make for a better and happy time for your life. I'm gonna do one more section so we don't end there. In life path and purpose, do you feel aligned with your life path and purpose?
Can I ask a question about the question? What the hell is a life path? Like, explain it to me like I'm not spiritual.
Life path. I think about my life path as, if we use the analogy that life is a journey that we're walking.
Yes.
You want to be on the path, not in the ditch.
No, probably not.
On the path, probably not in the field. On the path, probably not in the river.
No, not with, unless, like, listen, rivers usually have leeches, and I'm not about that life.
Right. And other flora and fauna and life, wildlife that we don't want to experience there. And so whenever I think about life path, I think of it in less spiritual terms, but it immediately introduces Buddhism. But right. But Buddhism for me, and pardon my lack of eloquence tonight, folks. There are many reasons for that. But in Buddhism, we discuss this thing called the middle path, where we're not too ahead of ourselves and not too far behind ourselves, but we're right in the middle, not too hot, not too cold, just comfortably situated in life. And I think that when I am aligned with my life path, it feels middle of the path, aligned in all of those ways that I just expressed. But yeah, life path for me would just be your journey. Do you feel aligned with where you are with your life? Do you feel aligned with your daily left, right, left, right, left, right of your feet? And most people can give a very simple answer to that. And a lot of it's found in how you feel. And we use the emotional guidance system and things like that to let us know if on today's life path, just for today, am I feeling like things are going my way? Do I feel like I'm on the path and moving towards the next checkpoint in the next city of refuge in my journey? Bless you.
Thank you.
Or am I in the bushes somewhere, getting cut up by weeds that maybe I got distracted, or maybe I was hungry. Maybe I was hungry and left the path. A lot of people leave the path because they're hungry and thirsty in all of the ways that one can be. But how can we return back to the middle path, and how can we align with it? I think it's something worth asking. Another question is, how do I connect with my sense of mission and calling? A lot of people feel like the calling thing is also something super spiritual, because calling is awesome. But this is your heart's calling. What is calling you towards feeling good? How do you connect with your mission to be happy, healthy, and free from suffering? And what's calling you towards feeling well today in emotional sobriety? And so that's a reframing of that. And what steps can I take to feel more aligned with my true self? Are there any things right now in a moment of vulnerability, putting you in the hot seat, Tara? Are there any things in your life right now that you would like to see yourself do to feel more aligned with like the truth of who you are? While you think about that, I've been talking a lot about being assertive.
Mm.
And I think that the real me, like the truest me, is a bit more of a go-getter than the guy I play on TV.
I think,
And
yeah, humble, like that humble streak, that meek and lowly and humble.
yeah, that's just like to not slam dunk on my friends if I'm having a great day and I'm ashamed. We don't talk a lot about the shame of having a good day. We talk about it in the network.
Yeah.
We don't talk a lot in society about the shame that one feels while bombs are being dropped on one part of the world. And so much suffering is happening.
Right.
We can often feel a shame around having a great week.
Well, and having privilege, right? I mean, there's like, I certainly feel that, like shame in having, we've talked about this a million times. Like, I feel a lot of shame in just happening to have the light skin that I have, right? And constantly feeling like I need to apologize for that, even though like it is not my fault that I was born into this body.
At all.
It was not, excuse you, Apple. It's not my fault that, you know, I was born in the United States. That's just the things that happened to me. But there, we do carry a lot of shame. I think similar to you in like the assertiveness of, for me, it's what would make me feel more aligned is by, I don't want to say pretending, but sometimes I feel like I'm pretending to build community. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody.
Pretending to build community. Unpack that.
Like that I'm like I say that I'm building community, but I'm only doing it by like, you know, okay, well, put your name once a month on the newsletter. Like that, you know, or I'll, you know, invite these people to the chat once every 12 days. You know,
Right.
it's like I could be a little more confident maybe in my ability to build and my ability for the ask.
Can I exchange your pretending word for like posturing?
Sure. Yes.
I don't think
pretending didn't feel right.
Well, yeah, this is going public, and I don't want ever to put out, because I know the truth of your heart, and so I never want to put out the idea that when you are community building, that it's something that is not sincere.
Yeah.
I think that there's a way in which we community build that sometimes can just have like the look of like putting up the sign that the lemonade is available at the stand is different than actually like selling the lemonade.
Right. It's different than like posting to the local mom group, like, hey, we've got a lemonade stand from 4 to 6 tonight. You know what I mean? Like, and I would be the person that like puts the sign in the yard and then walks away and expects community like, to come, right?
Knock
like,
on the door if you want lemonade. It's on demand.
Right. Like it's in the fridge. Just come on up, you know. And sure, some people are going to do that, but most people are going to be like, why didn't you put it in the mom group? I didn't even know, you know, like put it in the Crystal mom group. Like, so, yeah. So I think that's what would make me feel more aligned, because I really had a lot of fun this weekend, just like trusting that I can lead community and it can still feel group led. Like, it's not about me. Like, there's nothing in those chats in Liberation Conversation that has anything to do with like even a spill the beans or a riff or anything like that. It is just like information and conversation, and that is exactly what I want community to be, where it's not so leader centric and instead it's communal centric. So anyway, yeah, that's what I think I would say. Are we ready for the BD? Or are you wrapping?
Yeah, let's close down week 30 with day 6. Thank God for grace. We can be grateful when we sense God's role in our duties or higher powers' roles in our duties. Day 7, once we begin chipping away at our duties, a new feeling begins. Even when we don't want to be doing what we must, we may find ourselves almost enjoying ourselves. We begin seeing the gifts and feeling the reasons why we're doing what we are. We may feel stronger, closer to higher power, closer to other people. I know I, for one, you know, I'm definitely these days feeling stronger and closer to other people as a result of maintaining loved and lovable energy. And it says, at least we feel good about ourselves. Ignoring our duties piles up guilt and anxiety. Fulfilling true duties energizes us. It feels good in the end. The prayer for the week to close out last week's as we catch up is, higher power, help me do the hard stuff that I need to do. Help me do it with an attitude of service and love. One more time, higher power, help me do the hard stuff that I need to do. Help me do it with an attitude of service and love. As I've been bringing more duty and responsibility and care to my personal romantic relationships and to the communal relationships I have, I do see that people are showing up for me in ways that resonate more with what I'm putting out. I'm going to care out of a sense of loved and lovable duty. I'm going to grab the ice or rub the back or give the caring glance because, um, you know, it's okay to enjoy ourselves while also being responsible.
Yeah. Yeah. I really struggled with last week. I have real, service, duty, and there's been one more that I was like, I just don't agree with you, Melody, and that sometimes Melody does that to me, you know. But anyway, we're moving on from duty to boundaries. Week 31. Can y'all believe it? We are 21 weeks from the end of the year. If you're not in Team Better, if you are not in Unfuckwithable with Dr. Flo, if you are not in Winner Circle, whatever you want to call it today, it's all roped around the same idea of accountability and moving your dreams forward. That's what all of those programs do. But if you're not in Team Better, you do not have access to my goal getter. My goal getter for the next 21 weeks is going to be where it's at. I'm getting more confident. I'm getting more life back a little bit more. I'm getting my balance back, getting my feet, my toes in the little, like I'm in like the 1 foot pool instead of the like 3-inch pool. Like she's coming back. So anyway, join that and that'll help you with the next 21 weeks. Anywho, we're going to read day 1 of boundaries, which I feel like this week is going to be one of my favorites. How are you feeling about just the word boundaries, Flo?
Boundaries used to be a 4-letter word to me, and now it is a superpower.
Love it. That's the way I feel about boundaries. I love boundaries very much. Very much.
I used to be very much afraid of even a conversation around them because my backbone was about as strong as a limp noodle.
Limp noodle. Well, somebody said that about my hair today. Somebody was like, your hair looks like noodles. Can I eat it? And I was like, that's weird.
I don't treat ill people like they are well.
Yeah, that was such an interesting line. Anywho, day 1 of boundaries. My son had been out of my home for years. A friend told me he wanted his independence, but didn't want to pay the price. He always needed money for food and rent each month. I told him this was the last time. He'd either be grateful for my help, angry that I was upset, or both. Other parents help their children, he'd say. You're the only parent I know who's so cheap. What a rude child. But maybe the parent deserved it. Let's continue reading. It was a battle. Each month I lost, this friend said. It took a lot of getting angry, giving in, and feeling used before I could say no and then stand behind what I said. If a stranger demanded that we do something we didn't want to do, we'd probably refuse. It's harder when that person is someone we love. Sometimes giving is a good thing. Other times it's not. It can be hard to recognize when a pattern of being kind turns into a pattern of that's sabotaging both the other person and us. Each time an incident happens, we think, oh, this is just happening once, and this is the last time, until it happens again. I first learned about boundaries when I loved an alcoholic. I kept thinking that rescuing that person would help him and benefit us. I wondered what would happen if I withdrew my help. Would the relationship end? Would that person die? Oh my gosh. Okay. This is okay. I'm gonna finish it. It was hard for me to see. It was hard for me to see that not saying no to him was hurting him, our relationship, and me. Boundaries aren't a value to be applied only in situations with alcoholism. It can be easy to get lost in what other people want in many situations, both healthy and dysfunctional, in work, recreation, and love. Saying no to someone else and saying yes to ourselves is an important part of love. Whether we call them boundaries or limits, recognizing them is the value of this week. Yeah.
Yeah, what got you in your box of mini memories about I wonder what would happen if I withdrew my help? Would the relationship end? Would that person die?
Yeah, the would that person die? And y'all have heard us talk about this, and we've restored the relationship. But that was one of my things of like leaving the community for a while. When I said I put my gone sign in the yard, and I said, "Fuck you, Dr. Flo," and I blew up the telegram, and I fully intended at that time to never speak to Dr. Flo again. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I really hope this guy doesn't die. Like, I hope that he continues to heal. I hope that he, without my help, who's there? Like, that was always kind of like a looming question. Without my help, who's there? Without my help, who's funding it? Without my help, who's helping him get to the doctor? Without my help, who's helping him, who's seeing what's around him? Because that was a situation at the time. And in two previous, this has gotten a lot better, and Dr. Flo has grown and I've grown, but like the whole, even telling you, like, I'm not going to be your punching bag, and like literally just telling you no, that I'm not going to do that for you. That was like a difficult thing, because that was a coping mechanism that you sometimes still use, right? You've healed a lot from that place, but like, it's a coping thing. It was a way to keep you safe. And to like, when I put up those boundaries, sometimes people don't, they can't overcome that boundary that I've put up. And so, yeah, so this whole text sort of like, except for the very beginning, it resonates with me. But it's true, like, people will make you feel really guilty for having boundaries. And Dr. Flo didn't make me feel guilty for having boundaries. I just earnestly felt bad when I left, of like, oh my God, he might die, and how do I know? And like, I got, I didn't have access to like seeing where he was, which is not something that I check a lot, but it is something that, like, in that time, in that location, we were concerned about. And yeah, so like walking away from all of that at that time and putting that boundary up, that was for me, because I just could not do that anymore. Yeah, that was a big deal. But putting up that boundary and leaving caused us to be able to come back 10, 11 months later and have a completely different relationship, right? And there was boundaries at the beginning of that too. Dr. Flo said, "Hi, how are you?" And you were right. I remember it was like, "Hi, I hope you're well." You were right. That's like the 3 texts he sent me. And I really had to I was like, "Hello, I hope you're well too." Like, it was very like, I'm not going to give you that, because that's my boundary right now. And so yeah, that's what it's bringing up for me.
For me, it's bringing up recollection of all the times in which I knew where a personal line in the sand was for me.
And you didn't put it up.
And I violated my own boundary. I'm never going to talk to this person again. I know it wasn't you in light of your story, but I'm never going to talk to this person again. And then what do? entertain that person. I'm not going to devalue myself again.
Yeah.
And then I end up devaluing myself in these ways. So I've learned to hold firm boundaries, but also to be very gentle with them, because humans are very complicated individuals, full of complexities and full of many contradictions. And often every day, multiple times a day, I contradict myself. And so, knowing that to be true, it's important that I know when my boundaries are meant to be concrete and when I'm, to be flexible. And this is why, to the questions earlier about the root chakra, it's important that we find a way to be rooted and grounded in our intuition, because without healthy intuition, we'll doubt ourselves a lot and we won't be able to make strong boundaries and trust ourselves when we make them. Some boundaries are meant to be made for 10 months. Some boundaries are meant to be made for 10 years. And praying on and cultivating a spirit of discernment for yourself, internal, like that internal relationship with yourself, will also help to suffer the most when I didn't have them. Because if you don't have a clear, I'm not sure if you experienced this, Tara, if you don't have a clear direction for your life, someone else will give it to you. If you don't have a clear direction for your business, if you don't have a clear direction for the conversations you're having with people daily, if you don't have a clear decision-making process as it relates to like how you want to govern your life, people will fill in the blanks for you.
Yeah. If you don't sit and be still with who you are and really truly like know like know thyself, which sounds, I don't know, I think sometimes people get overwhelmed with that, and sometimes people think it's pretty laughable, like I totally know myself, but then they're the ones where other people are really making up their entire personality, right? So I just, I really, you get pulled off course, right? And this can happen both from not knowing yourself well and not having boundaries around like whose advice you're taking, or who's in your earball all day long. But I also think, and her story true just left us a comment, so I'll get to that in a second. But I do think that can happen when you lack confidence or are fearful of something. That's the perfect opportunity for people that may mean well, right? The intention might be there to like help you, but end up not helping you, to be in your ear, right? I mean, like when I think about my singers that come in the room, and so many of them are like, well, my first grade teacher told me that I sounded like a goat, and they've carried that with them all their lives, right? Because they didn't have a boundary of whose advice they were taking. And of course, you probably don't have one when you're in first grade. But those are the kind of things that start to like seep in, and you start believing about yourself, right? You really hold on to that, and you build a whole personality around one thing that somebody told you somewhere along the lines. And perhaps that person was not a person that needed to be within your boundary.
Reminds me of the importance that we teach kids and teach each other as adults, as we reparent each other, the importance of letting certain ideas into the gates of your awareness, and then the importance of being a gatekeeper to keep out the negative feedback, and the negative mind viruses that people try to put on us.
Yeah.
You want to get to this comment? Yeah. That's what I think people overlook or don't understand about boundaries. They should be reevaluated and aren't meant to be permanent. Yes.
Yeah, I think that about most. However, there are some that I think are very permanent. Like,
don't put your hands on me.
Right, 6 feet. Like that's there. Like,
Nuck if you buck.
Right. Do not touch me without permission. Do not, like, there are certain boundaries that like I think it's good that everybody has. But I don't think that, I think there are some boundaries that are not meant to be changed. But I do agree. Like, I think you do need to evaluate your life every so often.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want to steal.
You have to, once again, just for today.
Yeah.
What's the bullshit that I want to eliminate out of my life? What are the things that are holding me back that I'm going to let go of because it doesn't serve me? And what are the things that I'm going to allow? And I think healthy boundaries says this is to be let go, this is to be retained. And when I think about boundaries, also, I'll land here today as we close by just talking about how important it is to maintain high standards for ourselves. And maybe this is not a call to try to hold everybody else to our own personal standard. Somehow boundaries and standards and standard bearing somehow always comes to, you know, it comes to mind when we're here, and the importance that whatever we do in life, that we try to do it in the best way that we can. And we have opportunities to encourage that here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to close it out. Okay. This has been Daily Boost. I'm going into my newscaster voice to announce the things. I am going to try to do morning announcements better this week than I have in quite a while. I've kind of stopped sharing events and things that are scheduled into the Telegram groups, but listen, she turned into Jim Carrey there for a second. So maybe I am, as they asked in the live earlier, maybe I am. Those of you that know, and those of you that don't, never will. Anyway, so you can join us this week. New this week, as I just posted, is a consistent podcast listen from Tuesday to Thursdays at 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can join us mostly on Rave, but one of them is on Bigo because the company is sometimes racist and doesn't put the black people on the YouTubes. So we got to do it on Bigo. Wild in 2024. Crooked Media, I'm talking to you. I will call you out. I will call you out on that. Anyway, so you can join us for that. We are also doing Olympic watch group watches for the next few weeks, where I actually will keep the Google Meet open for the next couple hours. It's up on the event page if you all want to join for tonight. I post onto the document that schedule every single night, and then I will post a screenshot of that Google Calendar onto the Instagrams and all the places so that you can follow along. Dr. Flo and I are flip-flopping this week. So Dr. Flo will be doing Daily Boost on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will take Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Poppy will be back on Sunday for Waiting to Exhale. And I think that's, Tuesday nights, Deconstruction Junction. Join us. Those are the conversations. Those are the conversations. And then we'll be back with you next Sunday together. I don't think I missed anything. Did I?
You did an amazing
Join Dr. Flo's studio.
You did an amazing job as always. If you are a person who is either an overthinker or prone towards deep thinking about life and what's going on with us and with the world in these current times, I cannot overemphasize how wonderful it would be to have you in Deconstruction Junction on Tuesday nights. No topic these days is off limits or limits.
Limits.
And we're just trying to have the conversations that our hearts want to have happy weeks, months, and years. So if you're interested in picking thoughts apart for wholeness, for the purpose of a joy revolution, we would love to see you.
Wonderful. You can find all that information at lovedandlovable.bio.link. Follow us on all the platforms. And continue to be anti-racist. Be safe. Wear a mask. Do good work. Make good trouble. I love y'all hardcore. You are loved and lovable, and ain't nobody can change that. And we will see you throughout the week. Toodles.